It's time for our pick'ems. All of us had faith in the Quacks, and they did not deliver. Kurt Signetti went full Italian on him and just put him down. Just absolutely put him down. I could have picked up 2 games on Craig, but the sad irony in this is I picked his favorite team.
Homer.
Yeah.
Typical Boomer Sooner Homer.
Yeah.
I picked Craig's favorite team to help me go up 2 games on him, and they let us both down.
You don't, when any time there's any kind of possibility that UT's backs are against the wall, Paul, what have you learned about no matter who they play next? It might be.
Yeah. And here's the thing. They may not do anything else for the rest of this year. They might, this year might be, hey, you beat Oklahoma, but you lose to a team like Florida, then they can go out and lose to Vanderbilt or something, and everybody's kind of down on them. But Red River is the hardest. I almost don't want to pick it every year because I have no idea what kind of weird voodoo crap is going to happen.
Well, it'd be boring if we knew the outcomes beforehand.
Yeah.
So that's the fun of the rivalry, is that there's so much unpredictability. By the way, tried to talk me out of picking them last week. Like, I don't know that he has some mind games. And remember you're swinging the pendulum too far the other way, only for him to pick Texas.
I was never even thinking. I don't care if Mateer had been healthy 3 weeks prior. I was not gonna. It was just set up exactly.
No, I'm saying when I picked him, you go, remember you can't let the pendulum swing too far. Because I talked about that, and I was like, no, I'm staying with Texas. You're not going to convince me otherwise. But, yeah, I mean, the Michigan game, that was a flyer on my part that I shouldn't have taken. I don't say that, like, obviously benefit of hindsight, but that was one that just wasn't a very good pick. I mean, I don't feel any type of way about picking Oregon. That was a good pick, and just, credit the opponent every once in a while. But, yeah, SC did their thing, and there wasn't much doubt to that one.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's get into it this week. Game number 1, the Holy War, BYU and Utah. I'm taking Utah. It's in Provo. That's going to be really tough, but I'm taking Utah because I think that their defense is good enough to force the true freshman, who I'm a huge fan of in Bear Bachmeier, into some mistakes that they can truly capitalize on that a team like Arizona couldn't. And I think Utah will be able to do that. So I'm picking the Utes, and I pretty much decided that on Sunday night. Like, I knew I was going to pick the Utes this week when we picked this game. So I'm going with the Utes. Craig, who you got?
I am taking Utah. I'm taking Utah to go into Provo and win this game. I think they are very evenly matched teams. Obviously, throw the records out with this one. And home field does and can matter, and I'm sure that it will come into play on Saturday night, but didn't do anything for the outcome last year in Salt Lake City. BYU marched in there and won that game, and without relitigating it all. Like,
good God, please don't go there. Yeah.
And so I think Utah's capable of going into Provo, but it does make it a lot more daunting. If this game was in Salt Lake City, I wouldn't think for 2 seconds on it. I don't think it's just that clear that Utah's superior, but I do think they're just both, again, very evenly matched, and I do think that Dampier, this is a game where really he can make some waves. Bear Bachmeier, I feel like, has been able to get away with some things. And I think Utah can make him pay if he does those things. And Arizona could not do that. And others have not been able to do that. I think Utah's a different story. I think it's the best team that each has played up to this point. That BYU has played. Utah's played Tech. But I think it's one of the better teams that each has played at this point. And this ought to be a hell of a game. But, yeah, I'm going the road team in Utah.
Well, I love Kalani Sitake. I like the style of Kyle Whittingham. I am taking BYU at home. The Bachmeier, what you mentioned, the young quarterback, you wonder. Dampier, of course, was really good last week. Really good. So was Utah and everything. I got a question for you. I've become like the gambling man, even though I don't bet. How did it go from BYU a 3.5-point favorite to now Utah a 3-point favorite? I know money can change things up, but was there anything else that I don't know about when it comes to this game?
I mean, not anything in the weeds as far as betting that I would be aware of either. So, no, not that I know of, unless there's just something floating around on Twitter or the message boards about somebody of significance being hurt or something like that. Somebody's girlfriend broke up with him this week or, something. I don't know. But
yeah,
I think a lot of people think Utah's going to win this game.
No, I think I'm
what it is.
absolutely against the grain on this one. But I'm taking BYU at home, and I know both have played at each other's place, even players.
Well, you've really gone out on a limb with the undefeated team at home,
but the underdog at home. So that actually means Utah being favored. That makes it even more impressive, especially with this rivalry the way it is. I'm taking the Cougars.
Yeah, I think this ought to be a hell of a game.
All right, next up, what do we got? We've got Georgia and Ole Miss. Between the hedges, I'm going to take Georgia at home, and just because Georgia's at home. Like they did nothing to impress me in the first half last week. The second half was impressive in a lot of different ways, in that their coach can BS his way to literally anything with that timeout. They're like, no, I was clapping to tell you that they were clapping and trying to disrupt the signals, and now because you guys made the mistake, not me. You in the striped shirts, you made the mistake, not me. You're going to have to restart this whole thing, and I don't get a delay of game penalty or lose a timeout in a close game. I mean, that was your fault, not mine. But, yeah, I'm going to say Georgia just because it's at home. But now that I've said all that out loud, this is the kind of game where Lane Kiffin will absolutely just throw out troll tweets at people like me.
Like you. Yeah, exactly. He'll use that for his team's halftime or pregame speech.
Yeah, I'm taking the dogs. Give me Georgia at home between the hedges. I think that they had their hands full last week, but proved a lot in getting that victory over Auburn. And they've been able to be a team this year that just I know it's cliche, but they find a way. And it's cliche for a reason, because it's oft used, because it happens quite a bit. And I think that UGA, that label fits for them this year. I really do like what I've seen from Ole Miss, and they've got some pretty nice wins, but I think for me, the deciding factor was as much home, and then just the way that I kind of felt about them by the end of that Auburn game, despite all of the craziness with the officiating and everything like that. And then Ole Miss, like, just kind of, I guess, loving that LSU win too much and turning around and barely beating Washington State last week at home.
Yeah, they played with fire, yeah.
Like, had they just gone and crushed them, then maybe I'd feel differently, but I was kind of like, oh, that's a little bit of a letdown. Now, granted, they were probably getting ready for Georgia, if anything, but, I think this is another hellacious game. If Ole Miss wins, does this become like their year? Do you feel like they're the Cinderella story kind of a thing?
I think so, because this would kind of take them over the top.
Yeah, it would. So I don't think that's going to happen. I'm gonna pick Georgia here.
Georgia hasn't looked. They're playing good people. Obviously, Tennessee, they found a way. As you mentioned, against Auburn, they found a way. Do you know their leading rusher last week was Gunnar Stockton for 26 yards? They are not running the football at all.
That's why
weird.
That's why Hugh Freeze is going to get fired, because he has a defense that's legit, and then that really shut Georgia down for all intents and purposes in that game. But he has a terrible offense.
Their longest run was 17 yards. That bothers me, but I'm going to take them because they're at Sanford Stadium. They're at home. I'll take Georgia.
Do you know what Ole Miss is particularly not very good at?
Stopping the run.
There you go.
Yeah. So we'll see if that helps Georgia, and that's the medicine to make them better.
Yeah.
Paul?
I'm also turned into a bit of a Gunnar Stockton fan.
He's kind of fun to watch.
I've slowly come around on him for sure.
Yeah.
I wasn't I just don't automatically – it's not – take away the logos and all that. It's just I just don't buy that every new guy's like the next big thing.
Yeah.
And no matter how many times we hear it, I need them to prove it. And so I feel like he's proving it along the way. It's just not like right away he was greatness.
And part of it is just he's got like this Colt McCoy vibe to him, to me.
He's not on that level.
No, he's not quite that good, but like attitude,
not even close to Colt.
Like attitude wise, or like whatever. Like just the way that he can rally the team around him, and that he's not afraid of anything.
Yeah, he's a gamer.
I'll give him better. He's got a Greg McElroy vibe right now.
There you go.
He's Greg McElroy. Maybe he becomes Colt McCoy, but we'll see. So
with another 10,000 yards passing, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah. So next up, Tennessee and Bama. Tennessee has kind of, they've ridden a bit of a wave this year, obviously, and lost that game to Georgia because they couldn't make kicks or stops in the right spot. I really like where they're headed. I really like Joey Aguilar. I think he's fun. I think he's got moxie. But Ty Simpson's playing great. This game's at Bryant-Denny. I got Bama here, and they might win by 2 scores just because they're playing confident right now. Although they don't have that, let's go and run away and hide from people so much.
No, yeah, I mean, Alabama's been on a really good run here as of late. This is one of the great rivalries in all of college football, obviously. Although I'm sure there in that part of the country, it's mentioned right off the top. I feel like it takes a little while to get to that one, but it's one of the better ones and one of the more heated and hated. That's for damn sure. 3 straight top 25 wins for Alabama. And, yeah, cutting it close last week in particular, and even cutting it really close against Georgia a couple weeks prior to that. But, I mean, there's a very real chance that they end up with not quite but nearly 4 top 15 wins in a month's time, 4 straight games. And I think they do that. I think that they get the win at home against Tennessee. I think Tennessee's a really solid team, but I love the way Alabama's playing right now. And that Florida State game was just – a weird outlier is all that was to start the season. Now, yeah. It's a weird, chaotic outlier because beyond that, they've been in some close games, but they've been pretty damn good and definitely not the program showing cracks and falling apart the way it was made out to be and thought to be there after that loss to the Knowles. So, yeah, give me Alabama at home and what ought to be a great fight.
Tennessee won it last year. They've won 2 out of 3, and then there's, of course, the great stretch. Well, golly, Alabama won like 16 in a row or whatever. Well, they had a coach, a guy named Nick Saban. I'll take Alabama. Last week, they got through it. They got it done. They are really playing at a good level. I like the way their defense is playing because that's the one early in the year where Florida State riddled both sides of the ball, but I'll take the Crimson Tide.
All right, next up, we all picked the Tide. Notre Dame and USC. Look, USC's impressed me. Outside of the end of that Illinois game was kind of stupid. Like they really kind of lost their control of the game. But they've kind of rolled along. They thumped Michigan pretty good last week. I just think that Notre Dame is more complete than them on both sides of the ball, although not quite as good as I thought Notre Dame was going to be. But I think that they've kind of got their mojo back. Notre Dame needs this win really badly too, considering that their other 2 ranked opponents that they played early in the year. Now, granted, that's number 2 and number 4 right now. They lost to them by a combined 4 points. I think this is one that Notre Dame gets.
I'll take the Irish at home. I think that USC will make it a heck of a game, and I feel like I keep repeating that, but I feel that way with these games. These are the biggest games in the week. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be great games, and so I think this one will be that. I think USC will keep it close and competitive, and maybe the thing I've got to say I've been most wrong about this year, not that really there's been in all seriousness, Jade Mayaba, maybe not wrong, but just not expecting him to be as good as he was, not registering that he would be impactful as he is. Now, I don't think I was alone. I think I'm actually in the majority that most people probably didn't expect him to be as good as he's been based on what we'd seen previously, but he's been really, really solid. Like, you never hear the name Lincoln Riley. Like, he's managed to kind of just stay out of the way, I feel like, and especially odd because of all the coaching openings. So I don't know what PR firm's running his stuff now, but keep it up. Like, you're keeping him out of the nonsense, which I think is great, and just concentrating on football. But yeah, give me the Irish at home. I love their defense, and I think they'll be able to get to Mayaba and make a couple plays that tilt this game in their favor.
Yeah, he's really improved though, and it showed it showed Lincoln Riley still got a little mojo when it comes to coaching QBs. He didn't forget to coach quarterbacks.
Yeah,
he didn't forget how to coach quarterbacks. All right, last game up, and then we'll go.
Can I make a pick?
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh, I did it to you.
Oh my God,
it hurts, doesn't it? It hurts, doesn't it?
Yes, I'll take Notre Dame. Just move on.
Go ahead.
I
expand on it.
I like what Maya was doing. He got almost 1,900 yards passing right now. He's putting up some huge numbers. But no, I'll take the Irish at home.
All right, last game up. Here we go. Vanderbilt and LSU. I'm taking LSU's defense to muddy this thing up, make it look a lot like that South Carolina game. I know that Vanderbilt and the city of Nashville will be fired up around them, but give me the Tigers. If for no other reason, Brian Kelly keeps winning ugly games just to piss Garrett off.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I am going to go take Vanderbilt, man. I don't believe in LSU's offense right now. I think the defense is obviously playing pretty well, but I think that because of LSU's offense, think this will be kind of a game that Vanderbilt can muddy up a little bit. You're talking about LSU's defense muddying things up. I think this will be kind of a game that can be relatively low scoring, which gives Vanderbilt an even better chance to pull up an upset. And I also feel like even though they beat why are preseason rankings kind of bupkis? Well, number 11 South Carolina earlier this year. Now that's a nice win, but I feel like it's not a win that we're going to be talking about in the Diego Pavia documentary in the future years. I do feel like this will be one that we could be talking about. Like, this is his next, he beat Alabama and then he beat LSU his senior year. I feel like he needs to have a signature win, if that makes sense. And I think this is a great opportunity, but there are more coming, because this is just the second in 4 straight top 25 games for Vanderbilt. Had their hands full with Alabama, obviously, a couple weeks ago. They got Missouri right after this, and Texas as well after this. So they're about to go one direction. Well, maybe they just stay in the middle and they swap wins and losses, but they got a huge schedule ramp up coming up right now for Vanderbilt. So give me the Commodores. Is it an upset? Are they favored or
remember their first time
favored
since 1978 or so that they're favored.
That's
77,
right.
78, they're favored against the top 10 teams.
That's how much I pay attention to the point spreads. Is I wasn't sure, but now you mentioned that, we did know that. So give me the favorite Vanderbilt Commodores at home. I think this will be like a signature Pavia win that you put on his resume and show back on the highlight reels in future years.
LSU's defense has played great, 71 points in 6 games. I just feel like that it's kind of a magical time for Vanderbilt, even with the loss to Alabama. And I will take Pavia to have a fairly decent game. Nothing crazy, but have just enough to give Vanderbilt enough oomph to beat the Tigers and make Garrett Ross very happy in a weird way, rooting against his own team because he doesn't like Brian Kelly.
Yeah, he wants Brian Kelly to take that Penn State job.
Yeah,
That's
he
what
might.
he wants. So.
I heard that earlier today on the radio that or wherever podcast that's something that maybe that would give him a chance to reboot. So there we are.